Welcome to Excelsior Springs and the story of our mineral waters. It all started with one spring, Siloam, in 1880. Along the way, 3 more springs were discovered and 49 wells drilled. It ended with the magnificent Hall of Waters, with 10 waters from 4 types of mineral water available at the world's longest water bar in 1937. Different types of waters were found at different depths, with iron-manganese water near the surface, lithia or calcium water 20 to 50 feet deep, soda bicarbonate water about 100 feet deep, and saline water 500 to 1,460 feet deep. Let's tell you about a few of these wells. This early photo shows the Siloam Spring Pavilion, a few years after it was discovered in 1880. At that time, downtown Excelsior Springs was covered by a wheat field. A local farmer had a daughter who suffered from a severe form of scrofula or tuberculosis. She would bathe in the water, drink the water, and use the rust-colored mud as a poultice on her sores. After a few weeks of treatment, she was healed, and the story began to spread throughout the region. A 1935 analysis of the water showed 6% in iron bicarbonate salts, and a little over 1% in manganese bicarbonate salts, making it uniquely special to the area. This iron-manganese water was one of only 2 commercial wells in the United States, both in Excelsior Springs. This water was available in the Hall of Waters. A view of the Siloam well today. It sits in the basement, under the north steps of the Hall of Waters. After a heavy rain, iron-manganese water pushes up out of the well and leaves a rust stain on the floor. Though this water initially came from a spring, this well was eventually dug to a depth of 10 feet. The Regent Spring, first named the Empire, was discovered in 1881, several bands down Fishing River, just south of what is now the Elms Hotel and Spa. It was discovered by Captain Ferris of Richmond, Missouri. It was located just west of the intersection of Richmond and South Marietta Streets in Regent Park. This water received the highest award at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, Illinois. A 1935 analysis of the water showed 5.5% in iron bicarbonate salts, and a little less than 1% in manganese bicarbonate salts. Eventually, a well was drilled to a depth of 30 feet, and the water piped to the Hall of Waters. Regent Spring has been lost to time and Fishing River flooding. This shows its current location today. Located at 245 East Broadway, Lithia No. 1 well was drilled around 1883 by Thomas McMullen, and was used as his family's private water supply. Once its medicinal value was ascertained, the stone arch was constructed. The chemical analysis at that time showed the water contained 65% in calcium bicarbonate salts, and 5% in lithium bicarbonate salts. When the city purchased the well in 1935, the analysis showed no lithium bicarbonate salts, and the name of the well was changed to Calcium No. 1 Well, and piped to the Hall of Waters. This is a photo of the Calcium No. 1 well today, taken from below the well. Located just across Fishing River from the Hall of Waters, and just off Isley Boulevard, the Park Lithia well was owned by the city of Excelsior Springs. A 1935 chemical analysis of the water showed 68% in calcium bicarbonate salts, 20% in calcium sulfate salts, and less than 1% in iron bicarbonate salts. This seep well showed no lithium salts in the analysis. This well furnished much of the calcium water dispensed at the Hall of Waters. This photo shows the Calcium No. 2 Pavilion and well today. It is located in Fishing River Linear Park that runs along Isley Boulevard. The sulfosaline well, originally called Neptune, was drilled in 1888 on a rear lot at the intersection of Kennedy Street and Salem Road, shown on the map with a blue circle. One day townspeople noticed that a drilling rig moved into the north part of downtown and began drilling for mineral water, and at 1,460 feet, saline water was found. The owners of the Elms Hotel said they needed to sell the water to pay expenses, or they would have to shut down. The city board gave them permission to sell the water, the first time any mineral water was sold. There was so much sulfosaline water sold at one time that 2 girls and 1 cashier were needed to dispense the water. They were busy from 5:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. daily. Their motto was, "We're out all night till broad daylight, but we drink sulfosaline in the morning." The 1935 chemical analysis showed 74% in sodium chloride salts and 6% in magnesium sulfate salts, and this water was piped to the Hall of Waters. This is a photo of the sulfosaline well today, showing it in disrepair. The salt-sulfur well sits on a front lot at the corner of Kennedy Street and Salem Road. It was drilled in 1936 and was piped to the Hall of Waters. The 1936 chemical analysis showed 81% in sodium chloride salts and 5% in magnesium sulfate salts. This photo shows the salt-sulfur well today. The White Sulphur Well, located at 505 Elms Boulevard, near the alley, was drilled in 1916 and was owned by E. L. Morse. This saline water was black when pumped from the well, but turned clear when exposed to air. This water was piped to the Hall of Waters and used in the swimming pool. A 1935 chemical analysis showed 74% in sodium chloride salts and 6% in magnesium sulfate salts. This is a photo of the White Sulphur Well today, located at the corner of 10 Highway and Regent Street. While being serviced in the 1960s, something fell into the well, blocking the pipe, and the well has not been used since. When the Hall of Waters opened in 1937, the Natural Soda Well and the Natrona Soda Well supplied soda water, but it was soon apparent that these 2 wells were not enough, so in 1946 and 1948, 2 soda wells were drilled to 106 and 108 feet in depth to provide more soda water. No analysis of the water was available, but both would have contained sodium bicarbonate salts. This photo shows the 2 soda wells on the east side of the Hall of Waters today. The Jones Soda Well, later called Natural Soda, was located at 421 East Excelsior Street. The well was owned by Mr. and Mrs. Jones, with Mr. Jones being the pump man. 2 wells were drilled, with the soda well drilled to a depth of 110 feet. Water from the second well was not palatable and was never used. A 1935 chemical analysis of this mineral water showed 11% in sodium bicarbonate salts. This is a photo of the Jones Soda Well today. There are stairs that take you down to the well. This water was piped to the Hall of Waters and sold at the water bar and bottled in the bottling plant. The Superior No. 1 Well and Pavilion, owned by Lily White, was located at the south end of Superior Street. The well was drilled to a depth of 31 feet, but was different than the other mineral waters, according to Dr. Young, who analyzed the water. The 1914 analysis showed 4% in sodium chloride salts, 23% in calcium bicarbonate salts, and 13% in magnesium bicarbonate salts. Though non-functioning today, this is a photo of the Superior No. 1 Well and Pagoda. 3 waters were available at this pavilion, located at 200 East Excelsior Street. The Vichy Lithia water, the Link soda water, from a well 95 feet deep, and sulfo salt saline water, from a well 500 feet deep. Though the wells have been abandoned, this photo shows that pavilion today. 2 wells were located at this pavilion at 302 West Excelsior Street. The soda saline well was drilled to a depth of 195 feet. A 1912 chemical analysis of the saline water showed 86% in sodium chloride salts and 7% in sodium bicarbonate salts. The lithiated soda, or Excelsior Lithia well, contained 54% in calcium bicarbonate salts and a trace of lithium bicarbonate salts. Sally Collerman was the original owner and operator, followed by her daughter, Lola Kruger Ernst. The last to operate the wells was Arthur Gunzenhauser. Both wells were in operation for some time after the Hall of Waters opened. This photo shows a view of the soda saline and lithiated soda wells, with a replica pagoda standing on the site, built by the Rotary Club of Excelsior Springs. This map shows the location of all the springs, wells, and pavilions in downtown Excelsior Springs. 2 wells, the Blue Rock Lithia and the Montrose Lithia, were located outside the map area. These maps are available online at friendsofthewells.org. Please consider making a donation to restore our wells at friendsofthewells.org.